Hi guys, happy Sunday.
Hello.
So we are here with another challenge, kind of like last week's, except we're giving you a video this week. So we have a total of 6 cards in the Pinterest board with today's date on it. And we are going to show you 3 cards. And we have created a sketch so that sometimes you can work better without seeing somebody else's influence first. And so we did this. It has the sizes on it. We have it as a PDF and also as a JPEG, so it'll be up in the album. And we are going to put these cards together today. Yay!
All right.
All right, so for this...
Are you ready?
I'm ready. Are you ready?
I am. I'm excited.
All right, so I'm going to share that I'm using these 2 stamp sets, the You Make Me Happy Operation Smile and the Can't Get Enough stamp set. What ones are you using?
I am going to use the Operation Smile, the Say It in Style, and I am going to use the Boots. What is that called? Make a Splash.
Oh, okay. Well, I was just referring to the very first one.
Oh,
but yeah.
Yes.
Essentially,
me too. Just the first one.
Just the first one. All right. So this is what we're going to start with. And just so you guys know in advance, this is going to be a rainbow card. So the colors that I'm using, they're shown out of style, but they're shown in the order that I'm going to stamp them in. So lemonade, nectarine, raspberry, green apple, bluebird, and wisteria. What about you?
Okay. So let me get them in the order. They were in the order, and then I moved them. So I am going to do something very similar. I am doing pomegranate, pixie, gold rush, canary, sweet leaf, glacier, bluebird.
Nice. All right. So I'm
going to work.
Go ahead.
I was just going to say, I'm going to actually work from the bottom up. So I'm going to go blue to red.
Got it. So I am using Intense Black for my black stamping because I am going to be coloring with these 3 markers. So the Tan Blend, the Earth Brown Blend, and the Coral Blend.
I am going to do watercoloring with our ink. So I too will be using the Intense ink. And I will be watercoloring. I am going to do an animal. I'm going to do almond and toffee.
Oh, nice.
And I will be using my watercolor brush that I just had, and I can't find it. There it is. So I'll be using my medium watercolor brush.
Nice. All right. So one last supply thing. I am going to be using the square and rectangle dies. I am going to use the middle rectangle and the smallest square. All right.
Did you already pre-cut all your stuff, or you still need to?
Halfway. I have the pieces cut to be able to die cut. Gotcha. So I have my pieces here. Okay, let's see. I have a top folding card that is white daisy. I have a piece of scrap white cardstock to cut my frames out of. I have a piece of B&T that is approximately 2.5 by 2.5. It's just a little bit smaller, so it'll fit inside that frame. And then I've already pre-stamped my puppy dog with the Intense Black ink so that I could make sure it was dry before I used it.
Gotcha. So I have a top folding card also out of white daisy. I have another piece that I'm going to put on top since I'm watercoloring. That way it doesn't seep through my piece or what have you. And plus I'm doing the ink on top of it when I swoosh it on so that it doesn't bleed through and then you see it on the inside of the card. I've already pre-cut my rectangle in my Polaroid picture. That's what it reminds me of, is an old Polaroid. So I've already cut mine, and mine measures 2.5 by 3.25. And then in my B&T paper, I cut the same, so I'm gonna do the whole thing the same size. So I still need to stamp and watercolor and do all of that fun stuff.
All right, so I'm gonna go ahead and start coloring myself so that can be dry before I do anything else with it.
Right.
All right. Okay. I had to remember what I was doing. Oh, we didn't show our sample. Should we show our sample?
You should, yeah. Let me mute myself for a second. Yes.
Except she didn't mute herself.
Just a minute. Can you just wait a minute, please? Go ahead. Can you ask Carter to help you?
All right, so here is my sample envelope. So I just stamped the puppy on the front. I did mask the vines so that they weren't on the front, so it was just the puppy. And I did do that in archival black, so it would pop. And then here is my sample, and look at Danielle's sample too. Super cute. I love this. They turned out great. Awesome. All right. Oh, and let me show you. I don't know if Danielle did hers, and I know it's not necessarily in focus, but I did some random dots on the paper, some with liquid glass and some with the diamond stickles. So we'll go over that too.
I did not do that, but I was planning on doing it for this one.
It's super simple. It takes next to no time to do, and it just adds a little bit more pop to everything. So I love it.
All right, I'm going to transfer some of this almond ink into my lid and use it as a palette. And then I'm going to just kind of color in the lighter areas of my mousse. What? Okay, that's it. I'm not going to color any of the flowers because I'm going to cut that away. And then I'm going to come in with my toffee, and it's just a tad bit darker, and kind of color in the rest of the mousse. And I don't want to put a lot of ink on water on my brush because it's not really watercolor paper, but I do want to make sure that I have good coverage on my ink. Hope that makes sense. Assuming as you're watching me, you can figure out what I'm trying to say. I'm not squeezing my brush. It's just the brush is wet, so I'm not actually adding any more water to it.
So most of my coloring that I do is the flicking method, especially on animals, because I have fur, and it's not a solid color.
Whew. Good thing that was scrap.
Oh.
So, yeah. I'm gonna kind of let him dry for a minute. There. I'm gonna let him dry for a minute before I start cutting him out so I don't rip the paper. And then, because Michelle and I are doing two different techniques with the background, I'm gonna do my background first, and then I'll fussy cut my mousse and move on to the other part. And then she'll do her background because it's completely, you know, we're both doing different ways to achieve this rainbow look. So for me, I am using my spare piece, and I'm gonna take my little frame here, and I'm gonna put it down in the center where it looks good to me. Just eyeball on this. And I'm gonna draw an outline of my box so I kind of know where my rainbow should go. Just very lightly. I don't want it too dark, that way, because the ink will lock in some of the pencil mark, to be honest with you. And so when I go to erase whatever isn't locked in, hopefully the ink will hide the rest of it. So I don't want it to be too dark. So I'm just taking my ink pad, and then I'm just directly going right over it and just swooshing it back and forth to however I feel it looks good. So I'm going to do this. Now, if you have the old style ink pad, I do recommend using this end, because if you go to put it on this way, you're going to get this little divot mark on your project, and it won't be as smooth. And so I'm going to rinse and repeat for all the colors until I get to the top.
All right, so the other day I shared that when you're die cutting, if you can, send your die, your square and rectangles through point first, as opposed to a flat edge. They will go through so much nicer that way. You will thank me for doing this, I promise. Okay, that's our first time ever. Everything just stayed on the thing. Look at this. It all just stayed. I didn't have to take it out.
Nice.
That never happens. All right, so these are scraps. Save them for another time. We won't be using them today. All right, so I have the inside of my rectangle. And so I am just going to line this up so it is approximately the same distance all the way around. And twist it so it'll go through at a corner. And we are done die cutting for that card. So the frame and the inside are both extra for today. So put those aside, save them for later as well. All right, so I did something similar to what Danielle did when I was making my card. All right, make sure it opens the right way. I'm going to flip my frame upside down, put it approximately where I want it. I'm going to take my pencil and I'm going to do the inside of each window, not each, so the inside left and right of the window, and then very lightly the very bottom of my frame, because I want mine to be within my frame. And so that's how I decided to do that. And I'm going to use these little splashy dots because I thought they were so much fun. So let's, goodness, I need to move things out of the way so I don't get them wet or anything. So I'm going to put them up there. I'm going to start with the yellow because it is the lightest. And I'm going to go not quite halfway down. And I'm going to stamp with one side, and then I'm going to stamp with the back side. I'm not going to. I was going to. That's how I did the other one. I'm just going to line them up left and right. So I need, actually, stamp right in the middle to get off some of the ink. Grab the chamois and repeat with nectarine. So I'm now going to move up and I'm going to adjust my placement so they don't necessarily all line up. I do want them to overlap just slightly. And I'm stamping in the middle because it's going to be covered up and it removes some of the ink from my stamp so that my chamois gets a little bit less dirty. Next up is raspberry. Oh, you know what I should be doing at the same time? Because I think I did something different than Danielle, although it could be wrong. But I also have splashes on the inside of my card. So let me back up just a smidge. I come back with the lemonade. I've just turned my sketch paper over. And again, going to come in about one, not quite half of the way down and stamp. And this time I did actually stamp twice because there's more area to cover. And I wanted to make sure that I had enough ink to be able to do that.
My little moose is so cute.
He is adorable.
Okie dokie.
All right. Green apple time. Bluebird is next. Somebody's burning lunch.
You're what?
Somebody's burning lunch.
Oh, at your house. You could have.
Nope, not my house. Somebody else's house in the neighborhood.
Trials and tribulations of opened windows.
Exactly.
Okay. So I'm just waiting for Michelle to catch up. I didn't put anything on the inside of my card. Nor did I decorate my envelope. Because my envelopes are upstairs. I don't keep them in my basement because it's very humid down here. And if I keep them down here, guess what they do? They self-seal.
That's always fun.
Yes. So I don't keep my envelopes down here. So oftentimes, if you see them down here in a video, it's because I remembered and brought them down or have just gotten them in the mail and I haven't taken them upstairs just yet. So I will just wait for Michelle to catch up.
I do wish these ones had thin cuts.
Yeah. The Punny Pals, they had thin cuts with them, and they were awesome.
Mm-hmm. I think I might have him come in from the opposite side this time.
Oh, yeah, that's a good idea. Mine came in from the right. I did an owl. I should have had him upside down. Oh, that would have been bad, not an owl.
Well, on your, in your defense, you did do a different animal, so.
I did. And I want his antler to like poke out of the frame. So that's
that'll be super cute. Why didn't I see it before I just glued this guy on here?
I don't know.
I don't know either. All right.
But I did. My sentiment says, thank you, love you always. The thank you is from the Say It in Style stamp set, and the love you always is from the Operation Smile. So it kind of goes with the little characters.
That's a great idea.
I liked that two-tone font concept.
Yes.
Or not tone, but two-font concept. You know, mixing the two together. So I'm just going to add my adhesive to my frame. Move off any extra that's kind of peeking out. I don't want that to peek out. And then I will put my mousse down. Oops, too low. He's still a little wet. I should have put a heat gun on him. Oh well. It is what it is.
It's so cute. I love it. All right. Then foam tape. Because what card is complete without something popped up?
I am popping mine up, but not the frame. I'm going to pop the entire piece up.
Well, yeah. That's what I'm talking about.
Oh, gotcha. Oh, but you know me. I'm going to come in with some craft foam because.
And the only line I'm going to erase is the one I made at the very bottom. And I wouldn't have to, and I don't have to, but I wanted to be, you know, safe. All right, here's my little trick. Have you tried the little pokey tool trick yet? Or you do differently? You do different craft foam stuff.
Yeah. So to answer your question, no. So what I just did there is I just distressed the edges and gave it a little bit of a toffee poke on it. Swipe. And then I'm going to come in with my stickles. All I have is silver. I don't have any other colors just yet. Actually, I'm going to tear this down first. What are you doing with your pokey tool?
I use it to grab the backs of the foam tape.
Gotcha.
Okay, so I'm gonna hold this up so you guys can maybe see. So these are large right now. They will flatten as they dry. But there you can see the dots. That is just liquid glass so far. And then I'm gonna go back through and add some stickles. And the same concept, I'm just gonna go through random and leave a bit.
You know, that would make for a really pretty Christmas card if you did Christmas colors.
Ooh, that would be fun. Oh, and this paper would be a fun, like, snowy background type paper.
Right, that's what made me think about it when I was doing all of my little stickles on there. All right, and then I'm going to leave that off the side because I may want to do that again. I'm not quite sure, but I do want to come in. What was that?
There. And if you wanted to, you could totally pop up the frame from the background and make it a shaker card as well.
I thought about that. There's just not enough time in the day. Here's mine.
Oh, he's so cute.
Super
I love him.
Here's my favorite.
All right. These guys go off the side. Make sure you put this someplace. Oh, I guess I'll try to show you how all these appear.
Sorry, guys.
So I know it's blurry, but taller ones are the stickles. They will flatten out. They will not stay that big. So just so you know. But set it aside somewhere. You're not going to touch it. You're not going to put something on top of it because that would be bad. All right. So I know Danielle is talking to one of her kids, or I think, because she's not mute, but I can't hear her. That was card number 1. All right. So next up, we're going to do card number 2. Let me put some stuff away, and we'll wait for Danielle to come back. In the meantime, now Pauline asked if these could be boy cards. So this card right here, Pauline, this is the one that I had told you yesterday could work as a boy card as is. You wouldn't have to make any changes. You could choose the animal that you wanted. Super easy. And if you didn't want to do rainbow, you could do favorite colors. So maybe blues and greens and yellows, or, you know, anything like that. All right. So let's see. I'll wash the stamps real quick. All right.
Ready for card number 2?
Card number 2. I'm trying to be. I got stuff in the way. Trying to move everything out of the way. I don't have enough table space. All right. Card number 2. So for this card, oh, she's got her sample up already. I'm using a little sentiment. So it's an A-size stamp set with thank you, hello, congrats, happy birthday, happy anniversary, much love, with a heart and a star as well. I am going to be using the tags die and the stitched heart. I'm using the second smallest. I think it's the correct phrasing. I know I should know that by now, but it's always confused me. It's stupid. I know it's stupid that it confuses me. But, all right, move this out of the way. And so Danielle has hers up. And this is mine. Super, super fun. So it is a shaker card. So again, Pauline, this is the one that I said if you change the papers, could be a boy card, could say happy birthday. Super easy. All right.
And the cutout.
Well, you could still do a heart. You know, it's from grandma to grandson, so you know, a heart cutout's not terrible.
So I'm going to use the Aurora paper. So I'll make mine a boy card so that it gives some inspiration. And then I don't use as many pieces as Michelle does. I cut my B&T to 5 1/4 by 5 1/2. I'm using a zip strip for the side piece. I don't have the tags thin cut, so I just cut a rectangle and did my best to make my own tag. I did use more of that linen paper so that when I stamped, it kind of stood out and it was still in the color theme of what was going on. And I have just some acetate that I'll use to make my open window shaker. And foam tape.
Perfect.
It needs some foam tape. So.
Oh, this I think goes with a different card. Okay. All right, so I still need to cut mine. So I do have a couple extra pieces listed. That would be for the inside. My card actually shows it with B&T 2, but I recommend doing B&T 1 because I added the heart to the inside as well that we're cutting out from the tag. And so, although, anyway, you can do it kind of however you'd like to do it. Up to you. All right, move stuff out of the way so I can cut. I think I'm going to change up my tag. Last second. I am doing a second layer of white, just so that I could have the backing for the card. Makes it a little bit easier for me. Although you do not have to do that way.
You did a second layer of white for where?
For the back side of my shaker card.
Oh, instead of it being see-through?
Well, it is still see-through, but it's not see-through to the very background.
Gotcha. Right, that's what I meant.
And
like, so I did mine see-through to the B&T, and you're putting a white piece there, right?
Right, yes.
Okay.
So I'm going to cut my heart from the back side so that I can flip my heart around on the inside and have it use the other side of the paper.
I am so glad that this foam tape or this fun foam is forgiving. Every time. I love making shaker cards, and you would think with as much as I love to make them, I would get the order right. That the acetate goes first and the foam goes next.
Yes. All right, so I have a circle shaker card that I cut in half. So the first half I used on my sample card because, I mean, you don't need a whole circle for this. right? Because it's, I know you can't really see, but you can see that it's obviously too big. So I cut it in half, and then I will glue it on the back side, but I also want to cut off more because I don't need even all that much. So that's cutting it close, but that will be perfect.
Okay.
And I am going to use score tape for this. And I'm using 1/8 inch. And this is just to attach that acetate to make sure that it's not going to go anywhere. This time of day is just the time of day for that rooster. So the good news is this score tape doesn't have to be perfect. It doesn't have to all connect because all it's doing is attaching, it's doing a lot, but it's just attaching the acetate to the tag itself. So none of the fun bits fall out.
Just a second.
All right, so then what I'm going to do is I'm going to take the ring from the shaker bits and I'm going to snip it, and then I'm going to place it on my tag, but I'm also going to snip it halfway so that it can bend and go exactly where I want it to. I don't snip all the way through, I just halfway through so that it has the ability to move right where I want it to go. Oh, and this might be close. Haha, perfect. Now for the foam tape, you do want to make sure that your foam is all attached, is all connected. All right, so then I'm just going to use bits of this throughout the back side of the tag to get everything all popped up to the same dimension.
Okay, I am going to use some non-CTMH
Oh,
sequins just because they kind of match. My little blue paper here. I'm just mixing them around.
so before you do anything further, all right.
Yeah, go ahead. Nothing's up here down.
I was going to ask if you remembered to stamp.
No, but I put enough foam tape right down here so that it should be nice and even. Because I had already had it going. I already thought about that, and I was like, well, I'm not gonna. But I hear what you're saying. It should be okay. Fingers are crossed. I'm a rebel.
All right, let's see. I'm just pulling up my tape. It, of course, is not being friendly. It's like, no, I want to stay.
It's probably the only bad thing about like this is like when it pulls, it even no matter how careful I'm being, it kind of jerks it a little bit, and then 1 or 2 sequins like to pop out. And I should have just used my score tape because I specifically bought it for making shaker cards. So I wouldn't have to deal with this. Here we are.
All right, I'm gonna see if I can do this halfway. Well, not halfway, but half untaped. I also think I'm going to change my sentiment. All right.
So I'm gonna do happy birthday. What are you doing yours in?
I'm now doing mine in happy birthday as well.
Great.
Well, that's the hope. I'm
gonna stamp mine in sapphire. And I'm doing 2 different fonts.
I am sticking with archival black.
Okay.
All right, stamp 1 is good. Woo!
All right, and then I'm gonna come in
Yay,
and distress the edges with some sapphire ink. And then I have some old jute that I'm going to use to tie my tag off at the very top. It's cold here today, Michelle. What is it for you?
It can't decide what it is today. It's overcast and sunny. I know it was rainy earlier, but it's not currently raining.
Whenever I think of Washington, I just think of Seattle. So I think it just, everywhere you go, that's what it does all the time.
Yeah, pretty much. I mean, it's a safe assumption.
All right. Happy, happy, happy birthday. I got ink on my fingers and it made it to my tag. And now I have to fix it.
All right, so let's see here.
All right. Let's figure out how to fix that. I could do some splatters.
Let's see.
Let's see. I got ink on my fingers and then touched it. So I gotta figure it.
Oh, I have an idea. Instead of, well, you could do splatters. That would be the faster, easier way to do it. But what if you use the ball end of your embossing tool? That would
I
be
don't
fun.
have it. I don't know how steady my hand will be to do that, but I will try it. First on a scrap piece of paper.
It really, it's just literally tap into ink, dot, tap. You're not holding it, you're just literally tapping.
Oh, okay, I can do that. And it gives you very great
Other way.
dots.
Right? I love it. I did that with something. So there was a project for Let's Walk Together that I did that with.
Yeah, you're right.
I don't remember what it was. So I am using the Silver Star confetti in mine. It's super fun. They are super tiny. Super, super. It's not going to focus, of course. Anyway, super tiny. All right. Here's a little garbage collector. But yes, trying to peel off the foam tape to make sure that none of these things pop up is one of the most difficult things. So now I did make sure that I put some foam tape up at the very top above my hole for my tag so that that would have some stability because I'm going to thread some twine through it. So I wanted to make sure it wasn't going to squish.
Mm-hmm.
Just line that up and press it down. Super fun. All right, now I need to start gluing everything together so I can catch up. How is it she's always ahead of me? Somebody tell me that. She's always faster than me.
Story of my life.
All right. La, la, la. Interesting that that's the paper you choose to use as your splatter guard.
Why?
Why would you use that paper as your splatter guard?
Because I don't like it.
Really? That's one of my favorite papers out of that pack.
And Lauren put glue on the other side of them, like Elmer's glue or whatever, with sequins. So
Gotcha.
it doesn't hurt it any. It just gives it an extra. It's still usable. There. Now I'm happy. I like that better.
And now your tag has stars on it too.
Huh?
And now your tag has stars on it too.
Yeah.
All right. Mink twine cut, and let's see, I used approximately right about 12 inches. I think I'm going to do mine a little bit more crooked this time. And then the fun little trick is to grab a micro glue dot and place it where your twine kind of overlaps itself. And then it's not going to go anywhere.
Yeah. You should have did that and I forgot. I could still do it.
You could still do it. I almost forgot about my little heart.
Oh yeah, add your heart to the inside.
Yeah. And I remember what that other little piece was that I said it must be for another card. It's for this card. It's for the envelope. Remember, because I did the envelope with the tag on it.
Yes.
And so I cut another piece. I thought it was extra. It is kind of extra, and it's to create the envelope. All right, envelope. I had originally thought about doing a tag on the whole back side, but I thought that might be a little bit much. And so I just made it super short, and I'm going to attach it on the front. And when you're attaching things to the outside of your envelopes, you want to make sure that you secure the edges really, really well.
Every time.
Voila.
Perfect.
I love it. All right, are we ready for the next one?
Yes, I am.
All right. Uh-oh. I have a traveling stamp set. All right. Move this out of the way. All right, so our sketch. This is card number 3. And this one has so many interpretations. You could do pretty much anything you wanted to with it. And we kind of did just that. So yours is so cute. I love your color combination.
Thank you.
So fun. All right, so let's begin. Originally I stamped in pewter, but I think I'll switch to black this time.
Okay.
Although I do like the flowers in pewter.
They are cute, aren't they? And that's watercolored. And I'm going to do the same thing on this one. I'm going to watercolor this one too. or faux watercoloring since I'm really just using ink.
That's okay. All right. Hard base.
Okay. So we decided to use side opening. There's one piece of cardstock that's the same size as the card, which is 5 on mine. I don't know if Michelle deviated.
Nope.
5.5 by 4 1/4. And then my next piece is just a little bit smaller. My next piece is 3.75 or 3 1/4. I'm sorry, 3 3/4 by 5. So basically I just cut a 1/2 inch off each side. And I'm not sure if Michelle did the same thing or if hers are slightly different. She sent me all the measurements, and once I got down to the basement, I didn't have them with me, so I guessed.
All right, so I'm gonna do some paper piecing, and I'm gonna show you a little paper saver trick, because who doesn't like paper saving? All right, so I am going to bring in my Cuttlebug, because we're gonna do that first. So we are going to grab the large piece like Danielle said, so it's 4 1/4 by 5 1/2. And we are going to cut our boots out of the middle. So we're going to make sure that our design is cute before we do that, and not just cattywampus on here, because that would not be good. So that is my paper saver trick number 1. All right. And then I'm going to cut my boots out of some yellow cardstock scrap and the white as well. And then, oh, I need that piece. So now I have 3 pairs of boots cut.
So I'm gonna faux watercolor my boots in eggplant because that goes with the paper pattern that I have, because I'm using this, I almost called it Stargazer. Ooh, but Aurora. And I'm gonna kind of try to work a little bit fast on this. And then I'm going to stamp on top as soon as it dries.
Sounds like a perfect plan.
And I might have to bring my heat tool out because my mousse didn't dry in enough time. So I know that this one is going to have even more, won't dry in time either.
Okay. So I went ahead and stamped my flowers in pewter, and I will do everything else in archival black. So I need my boots. I do tend to stamp sideways. It's easier for me to line everything up.
No. Shut the door, please. Sorry.
And then one more boot stamp. So here is my suggestion when you're doing your sentiment. And I learned this a while back ago on another video, well, prepping for another video, that I know you can't really tell, and there we go. So I splashed my yellow after I splashed my splash. So I had stamped the word splash first in pewter ink, let it dry, and then I came back in with my lemonade for the splash mark. If you are going to use a non-archival ink color, do your underlaying color first and then stamp your word over top of it. Does that make sense?
It does to me, yeah.
Okay. All right, so let's see. This is
Okay, I'm going to stop this. So I'm going to try and do it away from the microphone.
okay. So I am, even though I am stamping with the archival black, I am going to come in with my yellow splash and put that down so it can dry. And then I'll do my splash over top of it here in a little bit. So this part's going to take some time. So while she's doing that, I'm going to cut this out. So I'm going to cut out the inside line of the book. So I'm going to just do right on the line, topping off the sole of the boot and the first, I'm not sure what that would be called. On tennis shoes, it's generally white, like the cushion layer. And I know boots don't necessarily really have that cushion layer. Now, originally, I did also leave the top for the yellow, but I put my flowers there, so you can't tell. So I'm not even going to bother with that.
Look at how cute. I don't know if you can see it. My little boots.
Oh, that's so cute.
If you color on it, you can also go over, if you wanted that area to be white after you're done and it's dry 100%, you could just go over those little marks with a white gel marker or gel pen.
Mm-hmm.
And that would fill it in also. If you don't have a steady hand, you know.
Right.
Not work, but. Okay, I showed that the other day. Like, okay, you're making a mistake and you get outside of the lines, you can color it with a white gel and then it hides that, but it would also work for accenting the piece also. Okay, so for me, what I did, this piece right here is 1 1/4 by 4 1/4. Okay, so that I had enough room for my boots and my sentiment and everything of that nature. I laid it out like this first. Okay, and then I took my pencil and I just drew a little line at the top. So I knew where I wanted to stamp my flowers. So here are my flowers. So I knew that my flowers needed to go approximately right here in this line, and then I didn't have to worry about measuring or anything, and I knew that my sentiment would fit. So that's what I did. So I don't know where my pad is, but this fun foam is going to work for my stamping platform at the moment. And I'm gonna watercolor these two in the peacock and in the sapphire and the sweet leaf colors.
Oh my gosh, I kind of want to leave this just like this. Look at how awesome these are. Yellow
Oh,
Willy.
those are cool.
And change, because hello. Let's see. Oh, I have these ones on a block, so I will use these ones. You know what? I don't want to. I'm not going to. That away. So I'm going to do the splash.
So I'm gonna do that. What I just said with the gel pen, I'm gonna accent that little line. Oh, it looks cute. It makes them pop for sure.
Nice.
Super cute. All right, so put those off to the side, and then I will start doing this. Oh man. Come in with a little eggplant for the little daisy-like creatures.
Daisy-like creatures.
I'm not quite sure if they're a daisy or what kind of flower they are, but they're really pretty. They're good. They're a good touch to this little collection. Okay. If I'm gonna say it right, and then I'll follow up with some sapphire for the little tiny, I don't know what those are either, flowers. I'm not good at this. When it comes to naming flowers. Okay, there's that. And next thing, I come in with some sweet leaf and do the leaves. Are you coloring yours with markers, your flowers?
I am.
Okay. Oh, okay. I'm sorry, I have to look above my head to see your stuff, so that's why I was asking. I could have just looked, right? Sorry.
No, that's fine. I may not be able
And
to cut and talk at the same time, but I can color and talk at the same time.
what colors are you using then?
Oh, now you're asking me to read and color at the same time.
What's the current color you're using right now?
The current color I'm using right now is Ice Gray Blend. And on my sample, I used that color on the daisy flowers. And I decided that I didn't really like that. And so I am now coloring between all the flowers with this gray color to help make them pop.
Gotcha.
So I also have Blue Turquoise Blend, Citrus Blend, Citrus Green Blend, and Light Green Blend.
Okay. We used quite a collection of these today.
We did.
And several different methods to using them. So that was fun. I like it when we use a different arrangement of things. Yeah. All right. So I didn't bother coloring the ones on the bottom below the line, but I am going to erase the line just in case I don't. It shouldn't show, but just in case. Okay. All right, so the first one I did, when life gives you a puddle, make a splash. And I think on this one, yes. All right, I was just making sure I played it right. I can stamp in the upper left-hand corner. Oh, my bits are everywhere. Sending me sunshine on a gloomy day. And it's crooked. I think I'm going to do my splash in Sweet Leaf over Sunshine. Just so the colors coordinate instead of coming in with a bold yellow like I did in the first one, which is fine. Either way is fine. Make sure my card's opening the right way before I adhere that down or I'll be sorry. Actually, I would just cut it off and turn it around and adhere it to a different card base.
Right? I've done that so many times, it's not even funny. All right. Now I can glue down all my pieces. One of the things that I love to do that you guys haven't seen me do on this video is I love to take 2 and 3 layers of a die cut and glue them together, because then you get a nice thick embellishment and you don't, there's not a whole lot of effort in it.
Oh, with paper piecing, you mean?
No, like with my flowers here on my sample card,
Uh-huh.
I have 2 or 3 layers of that die cut piece glued together
Oh, yes.
for thickness.
So cute. I tried to go slow, Michelle.
Sure.
Maybe I'll come in with some sequins. Is that your cat?
No, that's the kids next door talking in the backyard to
Sorry.
an animal. I just don't know what animal. But no,
Maybe it's the rooster.
he's sleeping in my noisy cat. He's sleeping in the corner in the sunshine. All right, foam tape. And of course, you know I'm going to use a lot of that.
You're going to use a lot of what?
Foam tape.
Perfect.
Did you pop any of your stuff up?
No. That's why you are slower than me, because you do more stuff than I do. But
That's okay, because it shows different ways to do the same type of thing.
absolutely. Exactly. I was just going to say that. Took the words right out of my mouth. Teamwork makes the dream work.
Okay, so here's a little something for you guys. So when I put this down, right, it goes the full span of the card. So that means I'm going to have areas here that have no support. So I'm going to go in and I'm going to add little bits of foam tape on there to help support it. And I'm putting them directly on the card base so that I know precisely where they need to be.
Good call.
I know part of that wasn't on camera, sorry. But you guys know how to put down foam tape, so I don't feel too bad. And then I'm just going to put some liquid glass in the center. And mine not all up. Now that is still going to dip some because there is still another 2 layers of cardstock that are underneath there, but that's okay. Oh my gosh, I like this so much better with just the yellow boots.
You like it better with just the yellow boots?
Not the boots that are just yellow, not the boots that have the pattern paper on. I just have to learn how to phrase things correctly.
When would you like to do our next drawing, Michelle?
Well, we should probably do that soon.
Yeah, we could do it. If you have time, you could probably do it tomorrow after your video.
We might be able to do that.
Or like during your video, I meant. If you have time, I don't know what your work schedule's like. But we'll definitely figure it out.
We will figure it out. All right. There we go. All done.
I love it.
They turned out super cute. So
Absolutely. Yeah.
you guys get to participate now. Now it's your turn. Let's see. Bring all these in. And then these guys too.
I think Michelle's not going to be able to give these cards away. And let us know which one is your favorite. Like if you don't have to do them all or anything of that nature, but which card is your favorite? So I can tell you now which one my favorite is.
Really?
So my favorite for simplicity and wow was the rainbow.
Yep. And you like the moose better than the owl.
You do? You like the moose better than the owl?
No, I said you do.
Oh, I do. Yeah, I just ripped my moose in half when I was putting him away, so he just died.
Oh no.
I know, so I'm gonna have to try and do some stamp surgery on him and see if I can salvage him.
Oh, poor Moosey.
Right here. He ripped right here.
Oh.
Yeah.
That's so sad. All right. Well, thank you guys for joining us today. We hope that you really like these cards. We cannot wait to see you guys' take on them because obviously we like them. So thanks so much for watching and we will see you guys again soon. Bye.
Bye.